Hello, everybody. As usual, I'm very excited to be here. It's always such a pleasure to step into the light, step into your life, and just really feel the magic of what that means for you. And I have an absolutely incredible guest today. And before I do that, I just want to let you know that this podcast is sponsored today by my book, A Spiritual How To, found on Amazon, on most Amazons. So I would love for you to take a look at that, go check it out, see if that's something you want to step into the light and step into your life with. I'm going to bring on the beautiful Kellita, the Showgirl Shaman, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about her bio as well as my personal experience with Kellita. So just a moment, please. First of all, Kellita is a beautiful trauma-informed embodiment coach, conscious burlesque mentor, and a TEDx speaker known lovingly as the Showgirl Shaman. She works at the intersection where burlesque dance meets sensory sensitivity, meets attachment theory, meets individualization, meets autoimmune recovery, meets somatics, meets spirituality. So you just love all that little cross section. For over 20 years, Kellita's been helping kind, soulful, highly sensitive helpers who've been over editing, over managing, and over giving, and are attracted to and dance, movement, and performance, even if it intimidates them, to trust and express themselves with confidence, presence, and radiance. I absolutely love your bio. So this is Kellita, and before she goes, because I know how when we give each other a chance to talk, we tend to just go for it, right? So just let me say just a little bit more about my experience of meeting Kellita. I met her at a very, very magical time in my life. I had literally just gone away from my very first. I don't know that it would be called a retreat, but it was a business conference, and it was when I was really starting to step into the energy of going to do things that were really about moving my business forward. And we have a beautiful mutual friend. At least we did then. I'm sure
Yeah,
she still is. I know she is on mine. But
yeah.
Kira Lonnie goes, "You need to meet this girlfriend of mine. You have to meet her." And so she brought me over to introduce you to myself and vice versa. And we got to have a little conversation, and we kind of sparked up this interest of, yes, we want to know more about each other. And then we both went our separate ways. And it was probably, an email here, an email there for the next, probably at least, I'm guessing, maybe even a year, maybe even longer.
Maybe
And
two.
then we started
Yeah.
to maybe even 2 years. Yeah. And then we really started to come back around because we were both ready to come back around into each other's worlds. And so what I did was I invited her to come and take part in one of my classes that I was running. It was a 3-month program. And I really wanted to show the women that there were so many incredible opportunities that they might not even be aware of or be thinking about that could really empower themselves in a magical way. And therefore, I brought you on, and everybody was wowed. And then again, we've been about another year and a half, maybe 2 years again. And
Something
both of
like
our
that.
worlds are evolving and expanding again. And here we are again. So I just absolutely love the cycle of life. And I'm very, very excited to have you here. And the floor is yours.
And the what? The last thing you said?
The floor is yours.
Oh, the
The
floor.
stage is
Yay.
yours.
Thank you. And I just want to confirm, I know that you go by multiple versions of your name, but it's okay to call you Sandy? Because for
It
whatever
is.
reason that just wants to come. But I might even alternate Sandy, Sandra. And yeah, I just want to thank you for this warm welcome and for the just the vast amount of trust that you have in the unfolding. And I'll just like capital U unfolding. I just have always seen that and perceived that from you. And it just, you're just like an anchor, like the tree pictures where the roots down into the earth and the branches very far reaching. I just see you as that. And
Thank you.
what a gift. What a gift. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh boy. So have the floor. I think that what's here where I want to just start is the preciousness of I think relationship, capital R relationship, our relationship with our own bodies. That's like the first one. Um, the relationships with, I'm just going to go cosmic from the start, with the I am that we are, all the levels of I am, like the I am that is this personality and name, Kellita, in this body and in this lifetime, connected to so many I ams, but the big greater I am that I am. I mean, I just feel this in you too. And I'm a highly sensitive person. You heard it twice, that some version of that term in that short bio. And I'll just briefly say, for anyone for whom that's a new term, roughly 20% of all humans are just to have extra sensory perception across all the ranges of perception, and the rest of the 80, bless them, they're sensitive too. All humans are, but just they're a little hardier. There's a little bit of a thicker skin, and when we in this 20%, when we don't have that extra skin, it leaves us, and definitely me, for the first long portion of my life, I had just almost had no skin.
Mm.
I was feeling not just the emotions of other people, but information um, cross, a lot of things, information that was more, that was not what someone told me. It was not what I read about. Um, and that took so much of my attention to process. And this is what happens with highly sensitive folks, that it might look like we're getting less done, we're slower building our businesses, we're very attuned to other people. That's where this relationship piece comes in. I just keep seeing this big R, relationship. So and even still, it's not, I will always be highly sensitive, and I will always have access to all this information. But for me, and the pathway that I practice is actually, rather than a expanding out, that's no problem for me. It's a coming in. It's making this body the
Mm.
discrete and specific point of where I am choosing to experience my I am. And this is not at the expense of the vastness. It's that the more I, as this highly sensitive being, can come here and live in this skin, the more I can actually, we're not here very long. We're not here in these meat suits very long at all. So coming in, and then one of my primary ways that has helped me associate into my body and experience um, myself as, again, more discreet and specific, which is what I need, um, is to practice a form of performance that doesn't feel like performance in any way one would expect. Um, and I want to pause because I've said a lot. I'll come back to that. I want to let Sandy, if you want to chime in there, that was a big.
I do. I do. Oh, we just lost you. I don't know why you went yellow. That was really interesting. Joy. There's a word that you used
Uh-huh,
that I haven't used in this here, but
uh-huh,
there was something that in um, I ask the people who are on the podcast to submit a form, and it gives a little bit more information about themselves. And I really appreciate that because it really helps to go even deeper into this conversation. And you
yes.
used a word that is, on one hand, extremely common. And on the other hand, it's like, I love how you're using it. And so I want to highlight this because this is something that really relates into this I am. So the words that you use are that for the who you help highly sensitive women. However, before that, you actually wrote that this is for recovering nice women.
Yeah.
And I really honed in on that, recovering nice women, because that just set my mind off in this, oh my gosh, we all feel that we're nice, and it doesn't matter what we've done in our life. We want to be considered nice. And I just thought, like, I don't know if you're feeling this, but I'm having a whole visceral experience right now with this recovering nice women phrase. Like, holy Dinah.
Thank
Wow.
thank you. You know, when we work in the realms that you and I work, it's a constant, how do we talk about this in a short and simple way? And that exact phrase just got distilled down. I've said things like that, but it just got distilled down over the last week or two. So it's a fresh one. And I want to make the distinction between nice and kind. So the journey, I
Mm.
don't see it be from nice to extra walled off, or nice to, it's from nice to kind. So the difference that I'm attributing there is that in nice, I don't think you'll read this in Webster's. This is why it's helpful for me to say it. With nice, it's uh, the vast majority of the attention is, how is everybody else doing? What do they need from me? And with kind, the self is considered. In fact, the self, just like that airplane, put your mask on first. With kind, there is a checking in. Am I here? Are my needs met? Am I plump and juicy and ready to serve with, from the center of myself? And to be in the center of myself, that's another phrase that's very meaningful to me. I actually have to tend to the needs of this one. And
Mm.
that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing for those of us who, and this happens especially with women, the socialization, but it's beyond that. It's there is a this will come, and I'm just going to name it in the simplest way I can. It comes from growing up in where relationship is a little distorted. Yes, and this comes from intergenerational trauma. It's not like it just started with us or the line before us. It's ways in which love got twisted, and the love literally that say a mother has for her child, or a father has for his child, or any kind of important relationship like that, it just, because of pain that wasn't addressed, it got passed on a little distorted, and that leaves the child, because the children will just assume, because it's the best thing for them to assume, that if something isn't great for their parents, that they have
Mm.
some control over fixing it. Because if they don't have control over fixing it, their life is greatly at risk. So it's this over responsible, as a little child. Even this happens when we're in the womb, even. We sense
Yeah.
mom's not okay. We don't even have language, but I can fix it somehow. I'm going to swim differently in the sack, or, we just do. And we start, and we come out into the world, and we want to respond. And when it doesn't work with our parents and we are not able to fix them, well, we try to fix everybody and make everybody, make it work out for. And so that's where nice happens.
Mm.
And then kind means actually coming and recognizing, oh my gosh, this is going to sound not great at first. I am the center of everything. Everybody's the center of everything. We have a million centers of everything. But if I don't actually affirm and love this body, I have no chance of sharing my love with anyone else. I mean, that I said it really starkly here, but
Well, you're speaking my language here. I want to hop in here because of something you said, and then I want to get to the meat of what's going on here.
sure.
Because you and I could have a conversation just on what we're talking about,
I
except that
know.
that's not why.
Thank you
That
for
is
the focusing.
yeah,
Thank you for the
yeah.
focusing.
Yeah, and that piece was extremely important because it gives people the flavor of who you are, the
Yeah.
understanding of why I felt you really needed to be on here, is so
Yes.
that people can see that, right? What I heard you say though is something that I really want to address, because there may be people in the audience that go, "What?" And you may not have caught that, so
Okay.
I just want to highlight it.
Thank you.
you in essence said something about us, especially as women, not so much men. And I just want to clarify that in all honesty, it is not gender specific. It's just that we as men actually, or sorry, we as women, we as men, goes to show my masculine side's coming out. We
Yeah.
as women truly know in an innate or subconscious level that we could ultimately change. Men may not yet be at that stage where they have that understanding that it's within their ability to change, or that they even could change, or that
Mm,
the magic of being able to change,
mhm.
to to really empower themselves in a different way. And I think that's it more than anything else. I think we're all on equal ground with regards to the exactly what everything else that you said. I just wanted to clarify that. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
letting me say something about that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the reason you're here and the reason why I had you come on to my program one afternoon is because what you do. So, how do you help
Yeah.
women?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. So my primary work is midwifing a conscious burlesque solo. So I work with s- intimate small groups of women, and through a 3-month program, we each woman, decides how she would like to feel and experience herself, and I guide her to choose literally a song and what she will wear. And through, I'm just going to say right now, a magical process, a solo is born. And then these solos they're living acts. They're living acts that each time we approach them, a new level of experience of the self happens. A new level of one's own particular um, power, and the marriage of power and vulnerability. That's a really strong marriage, comes through. And how how we do this is not by me teaching here, these are all the ways you do a beautiful movement. It's discovering the it's discovering what is already there. So, what hit me while I was making my toast earlier today, it's a revelation of self rather than a demonstration of technique. I'll
Yeah,
repeat
and
it.
I just
A revelation of self rather than a demonstration of technique. Yeah, go ahead.
I love that. And I just want to expand on this. This is a word that's been coming up really, really big this year, and it's the word fostering. And I heard you say also the midwife part of it. So what
Yeah.
you're doing is what like you guys. I mean, seriously, you got to check her out. Like seriously, um, like if you have the opportunity to go and watch one of her shows via online, you'll have a better understanding of what this is, because what she does is she literally fosters this beautiful piece of yourself. And as the midwife gives birth to this magical essence, I feel the emotions coming up. I want to cry right now.
Yeah.
You give birth, you magical essence of who they are underneath it. And
Yeah.
every one of these that I've attended of yours, where I've watched these women do this,
Mhm.
you can see that this is them moving for the sake of them moving for themselves.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh, Kalita taught us how to do this or do
No,
that. It's not that at all.
not at all.
It's such an intimate, I don't even know. I don't know. I lack the words, but I hope you really understand what I'm attempting to get across here. It's so powerful.
Yes, I will say that in the last intro that I gave in earlier this month, we just cried. We cried about 3 times, but the not the good kind of crying, like the this kind of crying that's happening here for Sandra. Um, because when if you see me, or if I see you going to that place where it is like it's just blossoming. If I blossom in front of you, you feel it in your body just as if you were blossoming. It's a mirroring, and actually this mirroring is the key, what to say, it's the key method through which these solos are happening, because we are, I'm just going to give this phrase because it's the most important question that I ask again and again of myself and everyone who I'm working with all along the process, is what does it feel like to be you? Either while you are being witnessed or while you're witnessing. What does it feel like? Emotions and sensations. Not what are your thoughts? We have a lot of those. We're great at having thoughts and stories. What does it feel like in your body? And because we use that frame again and again, it does that thing that I was referring to earlier. If it brings us right here, past all of our ideas to the raw experience of us, and that's where our life is. So it's yeah, I mean, I it makes me cry. It makes me cry the best tears and keeps me coming back. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just want to let you know, to those who are listening to this now and in the future, this isn't like Kellita holds these people up on a stage and there's a huge big audience and they're expected to do whatever.
Yeah.
It is a very intimate, loving space, a very sacred container, if you will.
Yeah.
A very sacred container that she's created with each of these women as individuals
Mhm,
and also as the group who's going through this 3-month process
mhm.
with her. And then who comes in to watch this? It's this
Thank
beautiful
you.
a give and take, because the audience too is a part of a very intimate thing. It's not like, oh, there's somebody up on stage doing Shakespeare or something like that. No, this is now, if I was the one that enrolled, this is now me showing people in a manner that I've never shown people before who I really am. And
Yes.
it's such a powerful, powerful thing.
Thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning that aspect, 'cause it's important. It is quite intimate, and for the last, well, now I guess 4 years. For the last 4 years, I have been primarily practicing this and teaching online, and actually our containers became even tighter, meaning folks have to attend a workshop in order to come to the show, to learn how to witness in this way, to how actually to see someone rather than analyze them, which is a really big difference, to
I love
just
that.
witness and feel another person. And so it is quite, it's quite a curated, safe and sacred space. Yes.
Love that. And you
Mm,
know what? In fact, that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you was what for a performing artist and an audience member, well, really any human being, what is one of the questions to keep asking themselves again and again? And I know it comes into both this, but it's possibly even life itself.
yes. Oh, ask it again so I can really catch
Okay.
it. Yeah.
What's the most important question for a performing artist and an audience member, like truly any human being, to
Yeah.
ask themselves again and again?
What does it feel like to be you? What are your emotions and your sensations while you are fill in the blank, while you are speaking with your loved one, while you are on the call with your boss, while you are choosing what to wear in the morning? What does it feel like to be you? Oh, I love how you can put that up there. That's so, yeah. Oh my God, will change your life.
Wow.
Just the
Wow.
asking of
Thank
that
you.
question. Yeah.
Now, I want to take this a step further because you've brought this up in conversations before, and there's a couple different types of traumas.
Yes.
So there's a boom boom trauma and a drip drip trauma. Can you maybe tell us a
Thank
little bit
you.
more about what that is?
I will, and thank you for bringing that up. I actually already did. I didn't want to introduce the terms yet, but now I'm happy to with the question, because I didn't want to overload with too many new words. But what I was talking about before in the, well, first I'll start with the boom boom, which is really the only trauma I knew about for the first 50 years of my life. Not on an experience level, but with the name of it. If someone said trauma, I immediately thought of boom boom trauma. Boom boom trauma tends to have a location and a date. You can point to, okay, on 2001 April 5th, I was hit by a car. That's boom boom trauma. Life was one way, this event happened, and life was clearly different afterwards. And this can be on the physical level, this can be on all kinds of levels, but you can point to it. And actually, that's part of the beauty. And healing, boom boom trauma is what happens with PTSD when someone has, they've been to war, and or you can point, there was this battle and that encounter with an officer. You can point to the times, and there might have been multiple, but it was boom boom. Now its sister, which has really over the last decade has become more spoken of. It's not usually called drip drip trauma. One of my dear mentors used that term kind of in an offhand way, and it struck me so much that I ran with it. But what you'll usually hear for drip drip trauma, most people will talk about either CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, or relational trauma, or attachment trauma, or developmental trauma. All of these are in the same family. They're not exactly the same, but they have to do with our sense of who we are and how it is to be in relationship with other humans has been hurt. It's been twisted. Like I used that word distorted before. I think that distorted is so how we learn that how we experience love first doesn't quite fit and feel juicy, but we learn that love feels like that kind of, oh, it's not quite right, but it's all I know as love. Yeah. And that comes through the intergenerational trauma of one generation not doing its full healing. That's how drip drip trauma gets passed on, unfortunately. And we can heal it, but it's more slippery than boom boom trauma. And often they coexist, it's not like you either have one or the other. In my estimation, all humans have some degree of drip drip trauma. Even with the most loving and equipped family members from the beginning, it's just the degree to which how much we are suffering from the drip drip trauma, but we've got some amount of it. And the way that that's healed is very different than boom boom trauma. Boom boom trauma is more simple for healing. Not that it doesn't take work, but it's a simpler process. Because for drip drip trauma, it's like we're in a trance. It influences and affects every single way we experience every relationship. So it's the trance. And if you're seeing my hands, you'll see like I'm putting my hands above my head, like I'm in the trance. So I can't know there's anything that's not trance. Love just kind of hurts. That's how it is. Until I get a little glimpse of, oh my God, I'm out of the trance. No way. We can't even at first, when we notice there's this possibility of love feeling like love, or people see, I guess when I say love, it turns yellow. Anyway, or people, it's this thing of, it's why we feel often so shy for someone to see us, because the more vulnerable we are to someone seeing us and not just reflecting, oh, wow. If we don't just get that, oh, wow, anything less than that is so painful. So drip drip trauma is why we hide, because we've learned that being seen or being loved doesn't feel that great. So in the container of creating the solo, we're actually gently and incrementally witnessing each other and giving a new option. A new option comes onto the menu for how it can feel to be seen. It can actually begin to feel good.
This is so Powerful. And I've used that word multiple times in this conversation already. I think it's comical. I just wanted to highlight something to those who are normal followers of myself here.
Mhm.
Uh, I talk about that conception to 7 years of age. I talk about, you know, present day, present lifetime energy, past lifetime energy. I
Yeah.
talk about rewriting the energy of this lifetime, this lifetime's traumas. I talk about it's a different ball game when we talk about how we're going to deal with the past lives stuff
Yes.
and generational stuff.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
love
Yes.
hearing you speak about another method to do this, because
Yes.
the more options we have out there for people, it gives you so much more to choose what works for you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the burlesque and
Yeah.
the which you have something coming up,
I do.
and
Yeah.
knowing that it's coming up,
Uh-huh.
we had a conversation about this as well. It's
Yeah.
also knowing that this is something that she does on a frequent basis. So it's not necessarily time limited. So she's going to tell you,
Yeah.
go ahead,
I'm going
tell
to
you.
tell. So, what the thing that I offer about once a month is my signature intro workshop. It's a 3-hour event called Being Seen on Your Own Terms, burlesque as a psycho-spiritual practice. And if you happen to be hearing this close to the time that we are having this conversation, the next date, but not the only date, the next date is January 20th. I didn't actually give you a link to that course, but we can put it
No.
somewhere near here. Um, and if you go to my site and you look under work with me, there's only two things there. So it's the being seen on your own terms. And that happens about monthly. The next one is January 20th. And it's a great, those, after those 3 hours, you will know, there's something for me here. Or you'll know, my cup is full. Thank you very much. Or you'll know, what's this woman talking about? But if you've gotten this far into this conversation, I think you already know whether that it feels like a match or not. What is less frequent is the whole burlesque from the inside out 3-month program. That's something I offer once or twice a year. And it is it is beginning, actually the 20th is beginning a 3-month program. So that's that, and that's called Burlesque from the Inside Out. Is the 3-month container.
Just
Yeah,
love this.
yeah, and these are both
I
online.
just,
Yeah,
you know what? There's a reason why, um, and let me just see how this one's come in.
sure.
It's been very intriguing how different things have been really showing up, like really popping up for a big reason. And 2024 is about that infinite sign, about really creating how you want to live your life, setting the intention, how
Yeah,
you want to step into your life. And with that, Kalita and I started having conversations again. And it's so comical. Like,
it's
you know,
perfect
here's a
timing.
beautiful opportunity. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, and I just love that the first 7 years, because yes, all that drip drip it gets set by then, and then it's just repeat fancy ways of experiencing new things. So we have so much and then I didn't open up the past lives thing, but we sort of referred to it.
Yep.
I just love how we're able to use such incredibly shorthand to just go, oh yeah, match, 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 match.
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
So, is there anything else that you really feel is important for the listeners to know or
um,
understand or hear?
I think just on a, I think that we just we did a bunch of cup and bowl filling with the content in a short way. I think I want to, and this is normal for me because I am, I spoke about it at the beginning. Um, but I think this coming in, I want to make sure that logistically, that's what I tend to be shy on because I'm making the big connections. Logistically, if you, no, I think even the logistics, you'll know how to find me. it through what Sandra is sharing here. And if anything has sparked, and you don't even know, like, I don't even know what burlesque is, or I get, and I love some of what you're talking about, Kellita. And the other part I really don't get. I would welcome you to subscribe to my newsletter, and that's easy to do, going to the site. Um, and my gift, it's a quiz. If you would like to know which Showgirl Awakening archetype resonates most for you, and this will also sign you up for the newsletter, but it's a beautiful gift unto itself. You'll get a beautiful PDF which shares about your archetype, and you'll be able to learn about how healthy she is, how alive and well she is within you. And they are the ingenue, the vixen, the amuser, the muse. um, that is my gift to you, and that is also a way that we can stay in connection, and that would be lovely.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to leave that up there. So if anybody wants to write this down,
Great.
do know that this is going to be on sandrapelli.com/podcast. Scroll down towards the bottom of the page, middle of the page. And
Perfect.
what else wants to come through? Definitely go do the quiz. Go do the quiz. It is just another step of empowering yourself, finding another piece of yourself. So very, very powerful. Yeah.
Mm. Sandra, thank
Thank you.
you. This has just been like a little orgasm of joy.
I love it. And you can see why we got connected and we stayed in touch and we want to come in here and share each other with you guys. So thank you so much for being here, Kalita.
Mm. Thank you.
Have a magical rest of the day. Oh, we got a comment over there, so maybe I should just. Ellen Ronson says, "Thank you, lovely ladies. Keep spreading the love."
Oh, thank
Love that.
you. Thank you,
Thank you
Ellen.
so much.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, everybody. As I said, you know where to find her. These show notes will be under the YouTube as well. And that's Sandra Pelli the Sandini. If you look up Sandra Pelli Sandini, you'll find all the show notes here on how to get in touch with her if you forget. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.